Hello, everybody! Agents Aftershock, we're back with episode 10!
What's up, guys?
I don't know about you, Sean, but I'm happy.
I don't know if happy is a good word. I feel that this is a step in the better direction. This episode was really good.
Finally, some good fucking storytelling. Man, the videos going out, like the video, I was on vacation, hadn't had a time to release.
Yeah, I've got a video coming out myself.
I have it's going to release today while we're shooting this. So this one will go up right after it once it's done editing. I apologize for the lateness, but the last episode was rough, man. It was so rough. But this episode did pretty much everything I wanted it to do.
It didn't answer anything new, but it didn't compile anything else on top of its already convoluted plot.
Well,
so I'm happy there.
I made some suggestions in the last video, and they didn't do exactly what I suggested.
Yeah, because that's not how productions work. They don't psychically read your mind from the internet in the future.
It feels like it because it was basically, it wasn't completely done how I said it should have been done, but it was done.
Yeah, I will admit you had some good calls on this. Let's start from the top.
Okay. Well, let me go with what I was talking about last week about S.H.I.E.L.D. and how they should get the information to figure out. Now, I said Gemma and Fitz should have put her in a room and turned the head back on and gotten some of that. Gemma turned up being very anti against this, which I can completely understand.
Right.
There's no lack of character there. It very is much Gemma going, no.
Yeah.
We don't need to do this.
Well, it's not like she doesn't have good reason.
Well, and it's kind of Fitz something's not right. I know this. It's Fitz being Fitz. So, in the last few seconds, we actually see Fitz downloading, her on his phone. But by far, Fitz's phone is very secure. There's firewalls on firewalls, so Robot Ada's brain can't get out to anything. I'm going to be interested to see where that goes, because you get more of the Doctor just kind of being the Doctor this episode. He doesn't, we got the whole, I'm really the bad guy, ha 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 ha, the bug drove me crazy in 10 seconds, but now it feels like he's more back to his character, more or less. There's a few things, gripes I have with him, but, all in all, it was pretty good.
Wasn't bad.
And let's jump into the main story of this episode. Mace got a lot of character development.
He did. I'm not going to say all of it was good, but they definitely had a lot of extra development to him. We find out that his powers are not natural. They are chemically enhanced. Basically, what did they say? It was the Scorpio compound or whatever?
No, it was the doctor, the Hyde drug. Mr. Hyde, Daisy's dad.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now they heavily modified this,
right?
But
it takes out the rage portion and the mind altering.
It's basically a temporary super soldier serum.
Right.
They made references to that. They're like, "What you found the super soldier serum?" And they're like, "No, it's not that."
Yeah.
So it is very much like a temporary super soldier serum, which also nods to the comic and who Patriot is, so I didn't mind that.
No, I thought that was all right.
Codename Patriot, I didn't mind that. Plus, we find out so much more about Mace and who he is. The character development in this, I feel there was maybe one step back with him, but it was more or less we got to see his true colors without the powers, when he can't really put on this big facade for Coulson and stuff. They're like, why are you so desperate? And it's like, well, magic. That's where my powers come from.
Right.
It
becomes evident as to why he wouldn't tell them what's in the case, what they're doing.
But we find out very much so this was because they wanted a powered person to run S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
But nobody fit the bill that would have worked except one, but she went rogue. We find out Daisy was going to potentially be the director.
Well, she would have been the public face anyway. Let's say that. I don't know how well director would have sat. But
no, not really. But
that's neither here nor there.
Daisy's S.H.I.E.L.D. would have been run very differently.
Yeah, I think Coulson would have stepped in a lot sooner.
Yeah.
We essentially find out that he is not an inhuman naturally. He has his powers bestowed upon him by a super serum. And that serum gets destroyed this episode. So we find out that he, while being, yes, a liar, is lying for a good cause.
So finally, a director with secrets. Finally.
Yeah. And those secrets actually paying off in the episode. So it's like, yay, story! I remember what this felt like.
I've never really noticed that briefcase that they've been talking about. Like, they say it's there. I guess I'll just have to go back and watch and find it.
We also get some context to the photo that's on his shelf.
And it was not him being heroic. It was him tripping and falling and looking heroic. And
that is 90% of publicity photos right there is just accidents that happen at just the right time.
Exactly.
So, and he does try and do the right thing by saying, look, once this is done, I can't keep doing this knowing what you know. I shouldn't expect you to want me to keep doing this. And he tries to resign, and it's like, that actually shows a lot of moral fiber for the character. It's him not trying to justify having the lies in place, and realizing that if he's going to try and practice what he preaches, the first thing that he's going to have to do is say, I can't be this person anymore.
Exactly. And then we also have, finally, he's turning back in the right direction. We have Coulson being smart, as Coulson is, and saying, no, we need you. We need the face. You're going to keep taking these serums.
He looked at him and said, no, you're a very good face for this, but as far as what we actually do, I'm calling those shots.
Yeah, he's like, you're going to be the face. You're gonna make the calls, but he's like, as far as missions and stuff, it's mine.
Right.
I'm taking
which gives way to something we were addressing earlier. We have base commander and field commander, and essentially,
thank God,
Mace will be base commander and Coulson will be field commander, which is probably going to work out very, very well.
Yeah, we get Talbot back.
God, I hated him.
He's just one of those characters. I don't
think they know how to write him, honestly.
I don't particularly care for...
He swings between being so amazingly right-leaning to the point where he's like, you only know what you need to know, and I'm the one who says you need to know it.
And then, like, no, you're a plague on human. Like, he hated Coulson at first.
And it's just all over the place. And it's like, you didn't need Talbot for this. You literally could have substituted in any armchair general that Hollywood likes to churn out by saying, "Oh, look, the military is all you're stupid. I'm smart. That's going to stay that way. You'll do what I say, soldier."
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
Like, just dial it back from 11 for like 5 minutes, please.
Yeah. And we get more of like we get the watchdogs that are like the remnants of Hydra.
Yeah.
And then once again we see Gemma just being Gemma.
I'm telling you, man, I want to see her and Fitz become base commander, field commander.
I do too, but man, when she walked in with Ada's head and played it like she chopped somebody's head off.
they get a prisoner, they put him in interrogation, and I don't care what anybody says, 90% of interrogation is psychological torment. Just making them think they're going to be in this position. And she takes the head, doctors it up a little bit, puts some fake blood in it, puts it in an ice cooler, comes in, starts laying out the knives and stuff, and he starts laying them going, "Oh yeah, you're going to do this?" She's like, Yeah, you want to see what happened to the last person who doubted me? Take a look in there, and it's like, oh shit, there's a severed head in there.
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm truly well fucked. And yeah, it turns out that's exactly what works, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's good. That's good.
The only we kind of got like a little side story in this episode too. I didn't necessarily mind it, and I'm kind of wondering where it's gonna go. We have Robo May start to feel that something's not right. Well, it's like she's sitting there and she's like, I don't remember certain things, and
well, that leads into the question of, are these AIs legitimate AIs, or are they just following a pre-programmed path? With this,
find out she is pre-programmed to find the Darkhold, but like she starts questioning, like, why am I after the Darkhold? Why do I care so much? And like, why am I making moves on Coulson? And because Daisy asked, she was like, did something happen while I was gone? Like,
yeah.
And she was like, no, but she does have May's memories because she remembers the things that, only May would know, and only Coulson, like her driving Lola at one point in time. And she really does show, it does show that, May does care for Coulson to a certain point, and their friendship is a very real thing. It's just, you finally have her start going, something's right. So I'm going to be interested to see where that goes when Robo May's like, I'm a robot.
She knows she's a robot.
Yeah, and it's going to be like...
Yeah, spoiler warning, she falls on a table saw and ends up getting part of her endoskeleton exposed.
And she's like, what?
Yeah, rather than doing what any rational person would look at it and go, yeah, I need a doctor, like, right now.
Well, she's like, to her it was like, this kind of hurts. I'll check it out later.
Well, she looked in a mirror and dug around in it and was like, no.
Well, that was like...
What the hell?
Well, that was the last scene. That was the cut scene.
I don't know.
So, I mean...
They're gonna have to do something to either...
We finally get, other May woke up and kicked the shit out of Ada until Ada was like...
Yeah.
No. And we find out the doctor's like, I need to turn down your programming, Ada. You're a little bit too violent.
Yeah, just dial that back a bit. No, I don't know. This episode had good points, it had bad points. I think it's just been mired in so much other stuff, and it feels so rushed in other places. It just didn't do it for me. And I really have a feeling that this is going to conclude very, very quickly, and we're going to be on to a third plot point in this.
I hope not, but... It seems like we're going that way, but I definitely think this episode was a very big step in the right direction.
That's the hope.
That pretty much sums it up. Do you have any predictions or anything? Besides that,
I have a feeling that Robo May is going to rebel against her programming and go to somebody and be like, I think I might be an LMD that's been replacing someone. Because I can't remember things that I should remember, and I apparently can bend table saws with my back. So, would you mind taking a look at this and telling me whether or not I'm crazy?
Do you think this is going to lead to destruction of Robo May, or do you think Robo May will stick around once they clear the programming out, and we'll have a May power team? Because 2 Agent Mays would be awesome.
I don't know. It's gonna be.
I could see where a life model decoy of May would be very super helpful.
Yeah. Well, life model decoys in general will be super helpful.
Well, you would have to tone back, I would basically say you would have to turn off the AI part, because it would be like, okay, this is May and May. This is a very strong-willed person.
Right.
A robot version of her that's ridiculously strong could potentially be a very dangerous thing. I'm talking Bride of Ultron danger.
Right.
So.
Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see on that.
Yep.
You got anything else?
No, man, that wraps it up. Overall, I enjoyed this episode a lot more. There's just not a lot to talk about it because the story was very simple. They didn't jump us everywhere. It made sense. The characters got developed.
It feels like a decent filler episode, which it was. It answered a couple of questions, didn't open up any new cans of worms.
Except the whole Patriot thing.
But it was resolved in its own episode.
Exactly.
So, and there's not going to be anything that carries over long term that they have to figure out.
Constantly, continuously, Fitz and Simmons.
Yes.
Fitz and Simmons. I'm all about it. All right, guys. Well, we will see you new episode next week. So back here next time. Later, guys.
Later.